Cat! He just pulled my headset off.
He's trying to do it again.
Excuse you.
He's mad.
Yeah, he wants attention. Oh, crap, Cat. Jesus, he just smacked me. So I've officially started working on my weekly comic about PCOS, and what I do is I draw it by hand and then I scan it and then I take it into Photoshop, and as you see here I clean it up. And at this point I was still using a thinner pen and writing the font, like writing in it by hand, which you'll see these things will change later, but I just wanted to show the process. This is my standard length of comic for once a week, which is 3 panels, although sometimes I do more. I've never done less, but I would if a joke or something, you know, worked that way. But I start by going around the edges, as you can see here. I will actually use a paintbrush with the white of the background. I'll eyedropper pick it up in case it's not perfectly white, and kind of paint over top of mistakes and stuff, rather than erasing, because I find that actually easier to use. I might switch eventually, but this is just how I do it. When there's color like this, sometimes there is, like, for the sake of a joke or just to liven up a strip, I will add color accents, and I use alcohol markers for that, so I do have to go in and kind of touch up the edges and get rid of any, like, bleed or anything like you see here. So yeah, that's what this is. I've really been enjoying working on them. They're really kind of, I don't know, I want to say cathartic. I guess that is the right word, because I started making these as just like a kind of a journaling thing for myself, but I really just wanted to share them and wanted to share my experience as a non-binary person with a syndrome, I guess, a disorder that is considered something that affects women. So now I'm working on adding a new sticker to the sticker set that I've been working on. I didn't realize I was actually using a different brush than the ones I used originally, but I got it working out in the end. I thought it'd be interesting to share just how I do this, how I've been working with Affinity Photo. I always get that mixed up, because I really haven't learned how to do much digital art. So I'm just kind of learning as I go, taking it slow, and this is how I've found works well for me thus far, because I'm still kind of working on getting the hand-eye coordination required to do digital drawing. So I'll start out by sketching something, like in my sketchbook, scanning it in, and then tracing it into, you know, the digital zone, so to speak. So that was what I was doing with the shooting star. I wanted to add a new sticker design because I didn't want to keep the hot air balloon. I felt like it didn't really match. So you can see that I'm just kind of picking colors from the color palette I decided on before. Then I go in and add the font. And I feel like these stickers would really benefit from having a font rather than handwritten, or a handwritten looking font, I suppose. But I don't know. You'll see me later working on these, but I've kind of gotten stuck. I'm not really sure if they are the quality I would like them to be. So they're kind of on the back burner for now while I figure it out. I have, I think, like 3 or 4 packs made up, but I don't know if they are the way I want them to be before I can sell them. But you'll get to see exactly how I finish them out later. So I thought I'd share with you a few things. I was originally just going to share with you some pens that I bought, but my girlfriend got me this Moleskine notebook as an early anniversary present yesterday. It's the first Moleskine notebook I've ever had. They expensive. Actually, no, she got me a Moleskine sketchbook that I use occasionally, one of those little bitty ones. I like to use that when I'm doing like little exercises or just trying out new materials. It's nice. She got me that for my birthday a couple of years ago. So she got me this. We were at Target and I wanted to look at the notebooks because I wanted a, what did I want? I wanted something that I could do all of my PCOS comics in, which you might have seen a little bit of me working on already. What is this? Ah, this notebook has been to means of transport used, friends made, countries visited. I don't know how that's any different than this. I mean, I guess you could talk about continents, but days traveled, distance traveled. That's interesting. I don't think I'm going to use that, but that's interesting. Anyway, so this is a dotted notebook. It's 240 pages. Hold on. Turn the AC off for a minute. Dot grid layout, acid-free paper, 13 by 21 centimeters, which is 5 by 8 1/4 inches. It has an expandable inner pocket. I don't see where it says the weight of the paper. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be using as a reward. Man, I mean, I'd like it back if you found it, but it's not worth that much. It's pretty thin paper, but it's not meant to be a sketchbook. It's literally just a notebook. And there's the... I was thinking I could just write ideas in here because I was getting tired of flipping through. I have a notebook I call my Commonplace Book, which was like $5 from like a Food Lion when we were at the beach last year. Actually, I have it here. I can show you. You've seen it in a few of my videos. I used it in my last writing vlog, but I have it here. So it's about the same size, and I'm still using it. I'm about a third of the way through it, but I'm getting frustrated because you can see I have these tabbies on here. Oh, the cat heard that. He's very interested. And I think the blue ones are for, yeah, are for the PCOS comic and research, and then the yellow ones are for the notes I took when I was doing a book review or a read through of a book and I wanted to be able to review it. So I'm just having a harder time now finding what I need. And the same problem with my sketchbooks. I was like, well, I'll just use my sketchbook. But I'm ending up flipping all around, so I thought, let's just get a notebook and dedicate it specifically to these comics because I plan on it being a long-term project. So I was planning on just getting one of the cheap ones, but they were all really ugly. They weren't for me. A lot of them were like, had specific uses like a gratitude journal and stuff like that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with a gratitude journal. It just obviously wasn't what I needed. So I'm going to test out my new pens here. I got 3 new pens for my comics specifically because I didn't really like the way this, ouch, was writing. This is what I used for the first 4 comics. It's the Pentel Arts Hybrid Technica 0.3 millimeters. So we'll just, I'm assuming you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you can, actually pretty well. This is the Pentel, and it's a nice pen. I like it for fine liner and line art and stuff, but it just, I feel like it's too thin for what I want to do. So I was thinking maybe a brush tip or a like felt tip type pen, just because. Alright. And then we have, let me actually pull up the receipt so I remember the specific names. So I originally ordered some pen cleaner as well for my my pens, like my fancy pens. They're not that fancy, but I mean they're like $20, which is pretty expensive for a pen. Anyways, so this is the Pentel Sign Pen. It's got like a, almost like a bullet nib. Let me see if I can focus on it. Might be too small. Yeah, let me try manually focusing on it. Sometimes the autofocus is like a godsend and sometimes it's not. So that's what it looks like. Alright. So this is the Pentel Sign Pen. This one I like a lot, except for the fact that it feels kind of scratchy when you use it. Like it's pretty, does it have a nib size on it? Doesn't look like it. I made the mistake, I peeled off the packaging. So I don't know what size it is, which I thought would have been printed on it, but I guess not. That's what it looks like. And then we have the Pentel Sign Pen brush nib, which does look like a brush nib, but it's actually very, very hard, so it doesn't really act like a brush nib from my experience. Maybe I just need to break it in, but I don't want to break it. I mean, now that I've used it a little bit, it's starting to act a little more like a brush pen, but like when I first started using it, I was really not sure. And I did not on purpose buy all, oh, there goes the cat, Pentel pens. Yeah, you can kind of see it's a brush nib there. It's just not a very soft brush nib. And then we have the Pentel Stylo, Pentel Tradio Stylo sketch pen. Like I said, I did not mean to get all Pentel pens. I will say this one is also kind of scratchy. I don't know, probably can't hear it, but yeah, that. I'll show you the nib in a minute. It's kind of weird. So I have 3 different types / sizes of nib that I can work with. I'm gonna put my hand underneath it. It just seems really weird to me. I've never seen a pen like that, but apparently they're pretty common. So yeah, those are the 3 pens I bought myself, and they're all pretty cheap. They were $2.39 for this one, for the brush nib. Oh goodness, the regular sign pen was $1.43 and this was $2.79. And the pen cleaner I mentioned was $3.60, but they didn't have it and they didn't know when it was going to be restocked, if ever. So they said, we can't sell it to you. So that's what it looks like on the back. Not really all that bad. Like, there's some ghosting, but it's not like properly bleeding through. So like, I'd feel comfortable using it on both pages. Not that I would really need to. This is mostly just going to be for pencil and maybe like a ballpoint pen. I don't think I'm going to do that much sketching in pen with these in here. So I'm really excited to get started. I'll probably go through my Commonplace book and write down all the notes that I had beforehand and make sure they're all in one places. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, well, I have a baby to help me, but I have my first set of printed out stickers here. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but you can see it kind of like shifted about an inch, so these lines are cut off. But that's alright. I'll cut them out and we'll go from there. Alright, so I printed out another sheet of stickers, and this time it didn't cut them off, and I fixed the spacing a little bit because there were a few that were touching in the original one. And I also made labels for the little envelopes. I don't know how well they work size-wise or how well they'll stick, but I'm going to experiment with them and we'll see, and it's going to be fun. However, some of these are very liney, like this heart here. I'm not sure what happened because I just cleaned the printer. I don't know if I'm maybe gonna have to clean it every time I make stickers, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, like that's not okay. Those lines. Failure might be okay, but those lines are not. So I'm going to cut them out with regular scissors, like cut around them just kind of in blocks. And then I got these like precision scissors from Michael's to help cut around the little edges. So that's nice. It should make it a little easier. Okay, so my stickers came in the mail. And these are the ones that I designed. The, don't cut towards yourself, kids. Do as I say, not as I do. The football ones. And the Hershey's, well, no, they're not Hershey's, the M&M's one. I mean, M&M's are Hershey's, but I don't know how to open this box. It's like a puzzle. I don't want to cut my stickers. I didn't expect them to come today. I just happened to check the tracking and it's like, they're here. I'm like, really? Come on. And I'm sorry it's so dark in here. There are people out there painting the, roof, or not the roof, the like trim and stuff on the outside of our balcony. So yeah. Huh, I didn't realize these were gonna be, I guess they are the same size, just one's a circle, one's an oval. They look really good though. These I could get a little bit bigger next time, I think, but be so good. And then we have the custom M&M ones. That's exciting. Alright, I'm going to sort through these later so you'll get to see close-ups then, but I'm excited. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. New font that I created myself that you saw me working on a few minutes ago. The super zoomed in here is because there are some boobs drawn in this, and I know YouTube has a thing where they don't like sharing them, and I know that while technically my boobs aren't women's boobs, a lot of people think they are, so I just kind of feel like I should probably zoom in and get rid of that sort of thing. So you can see here I created a font based on my handwriting, and I'm using it in the comic. Here I didn't have enough room for it, so I ended up having to use Photo Affinity to digitally stretch this like speech bubble, or whatever you want to call it. It's technically a speech bubble because it's not someone talking rather than, I guess it is like me, the narrator, talking, but it's not like a comic character talking. But yeah. And if you do go read this comic on my account Stet Comics, every single reference I draw in here, like the calendar you'll see, the 2 shows in the next panel there, are all reference of things I've seen in real life. I mean, everything is something I've seen in real life, but these are more references to specific things. This one's actually to a Sports Illustrated calendar. Okay, so this Goulet pens package arrived today, Saturday. It feels like it's Sunday, but that's because our power went out for a little bit yesterday and we didn't really get to do any of our normal Friday stuff, like homework, or in my case, schoolwork and stuff like that. So this is already cut open because I opened it and started talking once and my bill was directly on top with my address right there. So we're just gonna do it like this. Alright, so we'll start with that. And then we have this, and then we have this. Let me make sure you can see. The AC always turns on when I'm doing this. We got the cutest little sticker. Looks like the artist is Ellie Goulet, age 8. That is going on my sketchbook. That is adorable. I love it. Ooh, I could stick it with, there's another turtle I have. I have a turtle from Goulet pens on my watercolor. So the question is, do I want to put it on here since I have 2 turtles? Or do I want to keep the blue and green color scheme? We'll see. We'll see. I've got plenty of space for a sticker like that. And then we have card. It says, I packed your order with a slightly ridiculous amount of care to make sure that the writing products you love would arrive safely today. I'd love to hear what you think about how I've done at gouletpens.com. Christopher C. That's cool. Alrighty. First things first, and this is a less exciting thing, I think, compared to the other things I got. I got a traveler's notebook. It's a regular, like the regular traveler's notebook size. It's lined. Yeah, I'm not going to open it right now because I don't need it as of yet, but I will need it soon. So I figured I'd order a replacement when I did a order for some ink because I needed some ink. Well, I mean, I didn't need it, but you know what I mean. And then we have a sample, the Organic Studio Nitrogen, which I'm super excited about. This is kind of a shift in colors from blue to purple when you use it, so I'm excited. We have a Tootsie Pop Miniature Orange. I love orange flavored candy, so that's exciting. And then we have the ink all wrapped up in this. It's a lot of plastic, but I mean, I understand why they did it. They don't want, there's a lot of liquid in here and they don't want it to break. So this is my first time, no, it's not my first time. This is my second time buying a full jar of ink. I usually buy the samples like this, and they're a couple dollars. And I really enjoy them because I get to try all these different colors. And you can get surprise samples or whole packs, like from different lines, stuff like that. So let me get rid of this packaging. We'll save the bubble wrap for other things, like other shipping and whatnot. So we have this Noodler's ink. They're both from the brand Noodler's ink. I really like that type of ink. So we have, actually let's open the smaller one first. This is a bottle of ink, I think. I mean, I know it's ink, but all the rhyming. This is a bottle of ink. It's the 54th Massachusetts color. It's, I'm gonna regret opening this, I bet. Very full. It's a very dark gray blue. I love it. I can show, well, I'll show you another time. Maybe you've probably seen me writing with this color before, but I just liked it so much I really wanted to get a jar of it. Or a bottle, I guess. Is it a bottle or a jar? What's the difference between a bottle and a jar? I think it has to do with like the mouth, like how big the mouth of it is. So I guess this is technically a bottle, but, and then this one is also a Noodler's ink, but this is a much larger jar. And it came with some literature. Introducing our smallest ink bottle, the 308. Well, it's not this. This was how many ounces? I don't know. I don't know where. Did I throw my receipt out? I don't know how many ounces it is. I'm sure it says on it. It's got a Confederate flag on it, although it looks like this is the Union Army, so that's good. 3 ounces right here. And this is their Heart of Darkness ink. I love how it's got all these different creatures on the bottle. Here, I'll give you a little more of a close-up. I don't know why there's an elephant. Like, okay, it's 4.5 ounces. This is the Heart of Darkness ink. I got this because it's black. It comes with a dropper. Alright, and this stuff, the reason I picked this was because, well, I knew I liked the Noodler's ink because I like the 54th Massachusetts so much, but I picked this because it is waterproof, which is important to me because my hands get sweaty, and it is anti-feather, which means it won't like spread out across the page. And it came with a free pen, which I was not expecting. I mean, I was when I saw it in the thing, but like that wasn't why I bought it. It's called a Charlie pen. I don't really know if that's a specific type of pen or if that's just this pen in particular. So I don't know if I need to take that out. I don't know that much about fountain pens yet, but I figured that that'll be cool to try out. And this type of pen, you can see there's no like mechanism in it to suck up the ink like the other ones I have, which is why this bottle comes with a dropper, or why they give this pen away with this dropper. I'm assuming this is just a really like cheap like pen to try out their ink and stuff, but alright. So that's that. I'm really excited. So yeah, I'm excited to try this out too. I think I'll put this in my Diplomat Magnum once the green is out. The green is almost, you can't tell looking in the window, but if I open it, you can't even see it. Like, the amount of ink that's left in it is tiny. And there's a neon green in there right now, but as soon as that's done, I think I will put it in this. And I got the inks, this black ink specifically for journaling because I have a new journal, but I want the ink in it to be consistent, at least for a while. So I thought I'd get some black waterproof, smudge-proof, like feather-proof ink that would look really good in the journal. And I'll show you the journal later. I actually made it. I'm really excited. So yeah, that is my Goulet, not haul, but like purchase. It was pretty affordable. This was $20. This was, I think, $12. This was $5. This was less than $2. So, you know, not bad. Alright, so I wanted to show you real quick before I get writing. This is a book I made. I'm very excited. It's from a sketchbook, like a drawing pad I had. And I just took the back cover and made that into this. The edges aren't perfect. You can definitely see that because I screwed up cutting the cover. There was about a quarter inch of overhang with the paper, so I decided to try and cut it, and I didn't do a very good job. But it's still a functioning book that I made, and I'm excited. I used Sea Lemon's Coptic Stitch sketchbook method, and I'm going to use this ink in it. This is going to be my plant journal. I want to write about all of my experiences gardening in here, and then every year just kind of keep adding to it. And I'll probably make some sort of like, what do you call it? Reference, but I think it'll just be a loose leaf of paper I could put in here as it expands, rather than, you know, leaving a certain amount of pages for the reference section. But I will number these pages eventually. But I want it to be a journal and a reference. Like this year I had to deal with hornworms. This is what I found worked really well. I also had to deal with spider mites. I found that this homemade concoction works to kill them, but also so does this specific brand. My tomatoes had the blight. This specific type of fungicide worked really well. All three things that actually did happen this year. So I am super excited. I think there's like 240 pages in this, so I really don't think I'm going to use it all up this year. Yeah, this is my first time trying bookbinding, and it was a lot of fun. So we are just going to fill up, we'll try filling up the Charlie pen since that's what I've got available. I don't know if it'll be any good or not. I hope so. I hope it's a decent cheap little pen, because all of my pens are cheap really, compared to some. Let's not drop that on the floor. Oh, good, black ink.